Park. I'm one of the co-founders of Merkle Trade. I usually do everything from technology, product management to HR.
I'm YK. I lead business and operations at Merkle Trade. I usually support on the non-product aspects, so business growth, operations, everything.
Why did it come about, and what was the original kind of vision behind that idea?
So we offer leverage trading for crypto assets, forex, and commodities.
Our core belief is that making directional bets on a volatile asset is enjoyable to everyone. Our users make more frequent trades with smaller collateral with higher leverage. We have gamified items where users can use to get tangible benefits.
What does consumer mean to you? What does consumer DeFi mean to you, and how does Merkle Trade kind of fit into that?
Because we think that our product should be competitive to centralized counterparts.
We're really targeted on the long-tail casual trader segment, which we think is an underserved market.
So thanks for being here. Thanks to Aptos for having us. We're in Korea right now, so it's an incredible place to get this interview done. And I'm with the Merkle Trade team. So can you introduce yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Park. I'm one of the co-founders of Merkle Trade. I usually do everything from technology, product management to HR, business, IR, everything. Should I introduce what is Merkle Trade?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so Merkle Trade is a perpetual DEX. So we offer leverage trading for crypto assets, forex, and commodities with high leverage. So you can long, short, up to 150x for crypto assets. And it's all decentralized. And we are the first ever gamified perp DEX. So we are trying to target the long tail segment of the user base within the perpetual market. So that's why we are focusing on gamifying, introducing gamified elements to the trading experience. And also we are simplifying the UX. So you could think of us as a Robinhood for perp DEX. So that's the direction we are trying to reach. We've done more than 13 billion trading volume so far. So we've launched the mainnet version last October. So it's been 8 months now. And
10 months-ish.
10 months, yeah. So, and there's been over 130K users so far.
Wow.
So that's, so, and we just, we are in the process of token launch. We are, I think in day 6 out of day 7, 7-day LBA launch event. So tomorrow is going to be actually the TGE date for us.
Phenomenal.
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And who are you?
Yeah, so hello folks, I'm YK. I lead business and operations at Merkle Trade. So while is doing from product to non-product things, I usually support on the non-product aspects, so business growth, operations, everything. So that's been a busy couple of months for me. And since we're going through the TGE, that's been extra busy. So.
Excellent. So you kind of got into a brief story of Merkle Trade and kind of what it is. Why did it come about, and why did you guys pursue the perp DEX experience in this kind of new way? What was the original kind of vision behind that idea?
I guess I can start and then maybe I can chime in.
Yes.
So our core belief is that making directional bets on a volatile asset is enjoyable to everyone. But what we noticed was that the existing perp DEX solutions provided like complex indicators more catering towards professional traders.
Right.
So we are more focused on the long tail casual traders. So by providing minimized entry barriers, so you can trade with just $2 in our platform. There are no gas fees, no execution fees. And also users can trade either with their Aptos wallets or also their EVM wallets, they're layer 0. And this is actually showing through our user profile. So compared to other perp DEX platforms like Gains or GMX, our users make more frequent trades with smaller collateral with higher leverage. So we think that we are kind of catering to that audience to make more interesting bets and more casual, interesting bets while participating in our like 2-week-long events. We have seasons with different competition formats so that users can have different dopamine getting injected every 2 weeks. And also we have gamified elements that we'll go on to hopefully in more detail. But we have gamified items where users can use to get tangible benefits, such as fee discounts for their trades, XP boosts because there are trader levels that leads to better loot boxes and items. And also there are missions and quests that you look for in MMORPG games. So through this, we're really targeted on the long tail casual trader segment, which we think is an underserved market, but a market that which actually has more potential than the existing saturated perp text focus on the professional traders.
Yeah. So can you get into those kind of gamified elements? What, if a trader is onboarding to their platform, what is different with you guys versus, a GMX or a centralized exchange?
Yeah, so it's sort of like a playing RPG game. So you level up as you trade. And as you level up, that you get randomized loot boxes. And inside the loot boxes, there are random items that gives you trading boosts and trading discounts. It's sort of like our own gamified version of loyalty program. You see, like on Binance, you'll see you'll have like certain trading discounts based on the trading volume that you did over last 30 days or so, and we transformed it into a gamified version of it, loyalty program, in a way that I mentioned just now. So, and also we are hosting bi-weekly trading seasons. So in every season we host different trading competitions, and if you really try it, it's very unique kind of trading competitions. So for example, for the last season we did something called Degen Athletics, and it's kind of Olympic themed kind of training competition. And there's so we came up with this unique kind of scoring system where your score on the trading competition is based on your highest P&L plus the drawdown from the highest P&L to closing P&L.
Right.
So not only you have to reach high P&L, you have to lose a lot to score a high score.
It was called pole jumping.
So right,
because you have to go up and down. So I think this kind of competitions is novel to our platform. You wouldn't be able to find it anywhere else. So I think this is gonna be a competitive advantage in the long run.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense, right? If you look at Binance, you get like discounts for the amount of tokens you hold or the amount of trading volume you have generated, but there's nothing really tangible of it. But I think what really sets Merkle Trade apart is that you still get levels where you can keep getting better items. And these items are all NFTs that are also like traded openly.
Right.
So even though they have lost a trade, which many traders do, they win and lose. Even if they lost a trade, they still get that experience points, the trader levels, and the items that they can utilize for their next trade. Right. So we think it's a very entertaining, interesting loyalty program.
Excellent. So I want to back up a little right now. How did each of you guys come into this space, and then how did you guys connect around this idea and this company?
Maybe I'll start, since this is like a whole new story. So it's kind of interesting, but so before joining Merkle Trade, I was actually on the investor side. So I was an investor with Hash for 2.5 years, and Hash led both the pre-seed and seed round for Merkle Trade. So I knew of the team. I kind of communicated a lot through Telegram for their like mechanisms and such. But the first time I met them was during Aptos Seoul Hackathon, which was back in 2022. And what happened was I was one of the judges for the hackathon, and the Merkle Trade team was one of the participants for the DeFi track. And it was interesting because when I saw the concept, I was like, oh, this sounds a lot like Merkle Trade. And they were like, oh, we are Merkle Trade. So it was like, I had communicated with them frequently through one of the like other associates, but it's the first time I was meeting them in person.
Right.
So we started talking, the concepts were really interesting, and obviously, Merkle Trade got the first prize for the DeFi track. And later on, we kept communicating, and when I wanted to join the project side again, there were obviously a very easy choice to join. So I joined this March. So I'm the newest addition, and which I think is a good transition to look at the origin story of how Merkle Trade became.
Yeah, I'll just start with our background of the co-founders. So so there is another co-founder. His name is Patrick, who's not here today. So we are both software engineers, and we were actually some of the early engineers at Kakao. Kakao is one of the biggest tech companies in South Korea now. But back then, like when we joined Kakao in 2012, 13, it was a very small startup. So we kind of contributed to the first building of Kakao Talk and some of the most popular consumer-facing mobile apps in South Korea,
right?
Over the last decade. So naturally, I got to experience the process of building successful consumer-facing apps over the years. And the year that I first got into crypto was actually not too long ago, like 3 years ago, when we started up, founded this company. And that moment, at that moment, I thought the blockchain technology itself is going to be a transformative technology that's going to change society and how we deal with all the finances. So it felt like it's going to be a next gen infrastructure for finance. But it seemed like it's not finding itself in consumer. It didn't really have consumer products that are.
Right.
So maybe there it's still there still aren't many consumer facing products in like general population, right? And that's when we thought that because we are experts in building consumer facing products and there's not much consumer facing products in crypto, so we thought that we have something to bring to the table in this field. And then as soon as we started out this company, we saw everything breaking down, like Luna crash,
right.
and then FTX collapse. So we kind of look back on what's going on in this field, right? And we identified a lot of the problems come from infinite liquidity provision of the meme coins and the coins that doesn't have intrinsic value. So we focused on what's the sustainable demand that this industry has, right?
Verified PMF.
Yeah, verified PMF. And I mean, we wanted to just build what people want, right? And what we found is that people really like to speculate, and that's something we wanted to solve. So that's how the Merkle Trade came to be. And we also felt strongly about the importance of decentralization after what happened with FTX. So that's kind of a origin story for Merkle Trade.
Excellent. So, right now we're hearing a lot about the term consumer and consumer crypto, and obviously Merkle Trade orients itself towards a more casual, perhaps, consumer crypto than an institutional investor. What does consumer mean to you? What does consumer DeFi mean to you, and how does Merkle Trade kind of fit into that?
For us, we think like how casual the experience is defines our like perspective of consumer. So when I say casual, it means that the onboarding experience should be easy enough so that it's not something that people really have to make their minds to do. Right. It's more of a, should I try out Merkle Trade? I mean, they have a pretty seamless onboarding experience. Their gamification looks fun. Maybe we should try it. I think that experience is really what we are trying to define in the perp world. And not just that, but also the experience itself. If you look at our UX, users can view the complex indicators if they want, but the default UX is very simplified. You can just choose the asset you want to trade. You choose the whether you want to buy or sell, so long or short, and you determine the leverage and you're game on. So we're trying to minimize the hurdles that users have towards trading. I mentioned the minimum collateral, the gas-free transactions, but also the experience itself. So we're trying to make sure that everything is as easy as possible and thus casual. Because again, speculating on a volatile asset is really like enjoyable for everyone.
Right.
Yeah, and in that process, I think we have a lot going on for our roadmap. We're trying to make it more easy for users to onboard, not just Web3 natives, but also Web 2.5, like those who have experience in CXs, but who don't have that much experience using DEX platforms. So because the team is already seasoned in the scalable consumer apps, you're trying to really utilize that expertise that even non-Web3 natives can also casually enter into this cryptics field.
Right. You guys are built on Aptos. Why did you choose to end up with this chain specifically?
Should I answer? Yeah. The Aptos blockchain. So when we first started out building Merkle Trade, we had several options for choosing which blockchain that we should build on top of, and we naturally leaned towards high performance blockchains. At the time, there were Near Protocol, Aptos Sui, and the L2 blockchains were beginning to appear, like Arbitrum, etc. And we wanted some balance between decentralization and performance, and but we kind of felt like the L2s were not necessarily that reached the level of decentralization that we wanted to be on, because the sequencer is all centralized, even today. So and also we wanted to place ourselves in a nascent blockchain ecosystem, because usually the ecosystems tend to develop their own set of like ecosystem protocols and the composability between all those protocols, and we wanted to be
one of the first ones.
Yeah,
right?
one of
to grow together with
the prominent ones. Yeah. So that's why we narrowed our scope to Aptos and Sui. And between Aptos and Sui, I think both technology is both are great. But at the time, Aptos was a little bit early to the game in the mainnet launch. So that's the only reason we chose Aptos. But now I think looking back, it was the right choice, because we communicate a lot with Aptos Labs and then Foundation. And I think their technology, the engineering team is second to none. It's really all the developers from Facebook. They're all senior engineers. They know what they're doing. There are so many PhDs in cryptography and language designing. So we couldn't hope more to the blockchain
support, itself, a lot of technical and also the business support. Yeah.
Right. You guys understand that there's a huge kind of network of competitors in the perp tech space. When you guys decided to build this product and were fundraising for this product, how did you come about this distinguishing factor, which is gamification? And how did you guys develop the conviction that you guys were going to be able to distinguish yourselves from the rest of the competitors in the perp tech space?
I guess, let me start, and I guess you can chime in, but I guess gamification is part of our narrative towards the long tail casual traders. So we noticed that the perp tech field, the existing perp tech field was fighting for a pie that's still too small, very marginal. Well, there is like a huge population that's, in our opinion, just waiting to come in. Like, for instance, in Korea, there are many regions like Korea where spot trading is allowed in centralized exchanges, but leverage trading and futures are not allowed. So in those markets, there are people who actually want to trade very more efficiently through leverage trading, but don't have the option. And those that are somewhat used to trading, but who don't have experience actually going to DEXs. So we think that there's like a large pool of users waiting to come in, but not having the opportunity because there aren't those protocols there aren't those like perp platforms that support that kind of onboarding and that are friendly to those users. So we try to cater to that element, and we saw the success or / the volume that Rollbit was generating. So Rollbit as like the on-chain casino. Now, even though they had like KYC and all the other aspects, all the other kind of frictions, they were generating more than $1 billion a day on their futures alone. And since the platform had a lot of like those casual users just like trading in a very decent way, we definitely found that there's an audience that we can tap into. So, and while we were tapping into that market, we noticed that one of the best ways to make this experience more entertaining and immersive will be gamification. So that was like the thoughtful behind the gamification aspect. And do you want to add anything else to that?
I think our premise is very simple. Not all traders are sophisticated traders. I think there are more traders that are just casual, just traders who just want to make some money or have some fun, just speculating. So that's what we are trying to offer.
When we talk about the long tail of traders and more casual traders, I think some people might think about meme coin mania in the last year and people moving towards kind of meme coins. And then just thinking about how retail sometimes ends up kind of being, exit liquidity for institutions. So for you guys trying to serve that customer, what does it mean for you guys as a platform to kind of advocate for that user profile?
I mean, if this is, so to kind of clarify the question, do you mean like for meme coins specifically, or
just kind of understanding that user profile who's maybe trading meme coins, who's maybe using high leverage, who's maybe trading a small bankroll. What does it mean to serve that user?
Well, we don't think that it's let's exit liquidity for the retail users, because especially when it comes to high leverage. So because of course, like spot wise, the high profile, the institutional traders have the potential of having more insider information and having more purchasing / selling power compared to the retail investors. But when that goes into like 100x plus leverage, it's not about that, right? It's really about being on the right timing, but having the right balls in a sense. So because as I mentioned, our user profile is usually making more frequent trades with small collateral with higher leverage. The average leverage on our platform is actually over like 50x. So if you think about that, if you think about what happens after 50x leverage, it's really not about like who sells more or who has more information. It's just being at the right timing and really having like a market insight, like intuition and stuff. So we think that like perp can actually become a more fairer platform for everyone to really enjoy the high leverage, because it has much less room for certain institutional traders to have advantage against retail users.
Right. So it almost maybe is similar to kind of meme coins in which there is no necessarily institutional edge for this space. And that is why it's attractive to these kind of this specific retail profile.
Yeah. I mean, the win-loss ratio, the winning ratio is actually higher for our users. Yeah. So it's actually, there are degens who, although can lose a lot, also win a lot, especially in the high leverage space. I think it's more unpredictable even for institutions. So it's a fairer playing ground for in our opinion.
As far as the trend of gamification, do you think it can be broadly applied in the industry? What would you say to if you were speaking on a panel or something, what would you speak about these elements of gamification or NFTs, and are they applicable to the wider industry?
A wider industry, as in not just perp dexes, but also like other.
Not just perp dexes, or not just DeFi, but all of crypto.
I think so. I mean, maybe I can later talk about how he got to think about like adding gamification to perp dexes, but I think the beauty of like crypto projects, Web3 projects, I think, is in the composability. So they're not confined to a certain service sector. They can, because everything can go on chain and become freely traded and transparent. I think it's easier to attach seemingly unrelated sectors together. So I think that's converging especially between DeFi and Gamify. So in like gaming platforms, there are very aggressively implementing DeFi, like finance related like elements, such as, of course, to their items, their NFT items are always the most valuable assets. Like some metaverse, of course, the metaverse platforms are making their land, the platform where the users can actually build, as like a major asset within their platform. So I think those conversions are like what's natural in crypto, since everything is denominated in financial like aspects. While adding gamification aspects, adding items or adding something non-fungible has become much easier with NFTs. So I think it's definitely applicable for all other sectors. And I actually think that composability is the only edge that the industry as a whole can have compared to Web2 equivalents. So I think there should be a very proactive crossbreed of these elements so that people can choose. There can be a bigger pie that we can position. Because I mean, to be honest, in my opinion, there are more L2s than the users right now. So definitely we have to make more interesting services to get more audience base so that we can actually flourish.
So you'd perhaps like to see a more collaborative industry in the future?
Yeah, a lot of knowledge sharing, like seeing what works and doesn't work. Lower toxicity, I would say, like just encouraging new experiments as long as they are not soft hooks, so that people can actually like learn from those use cases and implementing them in a different way. So that's more interesting. I mean, we don't need any more forks, I guess. We need like more novel use cases that people can refer to. And then,
what's the ultimate ambition for Merkle Trade? Say 5 years, 10 years from now, what has Merkle Trade become?
It's very simple actually. We are gonna be the next Binance. So we are starting
the decentralized version of Binance.
Yeah, right, exactly. So for the next couple years, I guess, we're going to be focusing on the retail, long tail side of the traders. And then we could expand onto other areas like options or prediction markets, maybe. And so we have this vast vision, but we are starting small because we are a very small startup. We have to focus our resources into punching into the industry and gaining strong market presence in specific segment of that market. So that's where we start, and then we're gonna go from there to expand onto bigger markets, I think.
Right. So almost like if you think of crypto as the degen casino, it's like you guys are blackjack or something, or you guys are poker, and if you can solve this and attract the user into this specific space, then
exactly. Yeah. When we say like the next like decentralized finance, I think it really kind of caters towards the user experience. The user experience should be in par with the Web2 kind of a competitor to make sure that we get like that crowd into us.
Right. That's why that's probably why we are focusing that much to the user experience, because we think that our product should be competitive to centralized counterparts. So we don't really accept like high latency or having to pay gas fees. Even having to use wallets is not acceptable for most people.
Right.
So we are gonna get rid of all that entry barriers for people, and that's gonna be just the start, because that's where we are just leveling the playground with the centralized counterparts.
Right. Yeah, I kind of have a conviction where it's like, if this space is really going to be successful, crypto has to compete on its own merits and not just, rely on the crutch that a crypto user will try out your product because they're interested in crypto.
Right? Exactly. We need a plus alpha.
Exactly.
Unique.
So for you guys from Merkle Trade, obviously token generation event coming up really soon. What should we pay attention in the next weeks and months or surrounding what you guys are doing?
Well, I mean, our roadmap is packed. I mean, just explain on the onboarding experience. We're working on really abstracting away the wallet experience as a whole. So to make sure that users can really start just by like several clicks from the CXs, they can immediately start trading on Merkle Trade. That's like the grand vision, with very simplified UX so that users might not even feel that this is a Web3 platform. So that will be our core focus. We have a lot that we want to do. For instance, the gamification elements, there's so much like design space open for us. We can make like social profiles, IDs. We definitely need communication channels, because chatting while trading is definitely something that has been proven to be fun. So we have a lot of these elements that we want to work on, but obviously we are dedicated to just like hiring the best people. So if anyone's interested in working with us, please let us know. We're actively hiring both business side and the product side. So please let us know.
Excellent. Well, Merkle Trade, thanks so much for chatting today. Really looking forward to seeing you guys and what you can do with the space. Thanks so much for
pleasure being here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Excellent. Thanks, guys.